Welcome back to In Frame Brooklyn. Charlie from Real Brooklyn Films here, and I know it's been a minute. I think I always say it's been a minute because it's been a minute. A lot has happened over the last, I think, 4 or 5 weeks since the last video, but a lot has happened over the last 4 weeks, and almost all of it's really good. So we'll talk about that. But today I think we're going to start off with something that everybody's talking about. The state of Hollywood in 2024, 2025. I'll be honest, the state of Hollywood has never affected documentary filmmakers too much. We were never accepted in Hollywood. We were never part of the in crowd in Hollywood. And we've always been, independent filmmakers. The Maysles brothers, D.A. Pennebaker, Errol Morris, today Matt Heineman, Ali Tabizi, are all singular documentary filmmakers working on their own. We've been excluded from Hollywood. Nobody wants to distribute documentary films. Only now are the streamers starting to see the value in documentary films. So I don't think that it's important to talk about what's going on there. What I do think it's important to talk about is a question I was asked from somebody right out of film school recently. And we'll get into that right out of it. And we'll get into that right after this. So yeah, the state of Hollywood is it's frightening to a lot of people who make their living there. It's not great for a lot of guys who are in tech, shooters and editors and sound people who rely on those jobs to go ahead and do their own stuff, which we will get into in a second. But at the end of the day, as documentary filmmakers, that's not where our bread and butter lies. Point of fact, nobody's making documentary films to get rich. So I had mentioned something in a comment someplace about, that's not why we do this. And if you're getting into documentary filmmaking because you think you're going to make a living, well, yeah, that's not such a good idea. And the question I was asked by this guy who was just out of film school was, I know I'm not going to be rich, but what can I expect to make so I can make a living making my own stuff? Well, and the answer to that is none.
The answer is none. None.
Is that good?
Nobody's going to pay you to make your own stuff. It's just just the way it is. Unless your own stuff happens to be, you are Matthew Heineman right now. He's the big doc filmmaker. The guys who were all nominated at Sundance this year, and all of them are broke. None of them are getting rich. So, I guess the question and the answer is, well, how do you make documentary films? How can you be successful making documentary films? And what's the path? And I think that the question really shouldn't be how to make documentary films. It's how to make documentary films and not starve.
Girl, alms for the poor.
And I think the not starving part really it's very simple. And one of the things he asked me is, do I just get a job as a cashier and, watch my dreams die? And well, you know what? That's not, first of all, that's not helpful. It's not helpful for your career. It's not helpful in your mental headspace. You can make money in the business, and that's where you should be getting jobs. PA work pays $300 a day. You can be a PA. You can be a runner on a set. You can work in a production office. People are hiring those jobs. I know people at a film school. Hey, look, I've been there. They want to get out of film school, and they want somebody to pay them to make their opus.
Please call me master.
Because they are on a tour. And so then their dream and their movie is going to change the world. Somebody should pay them to make that. Well, that's not how it works. It's never going to work that way. It has never worked that way. Maybe one person catches lightning in a bottle, but unless you're one of these people, it's not going to happen. So what you need to do is be in the industry and on whatever level. And what you have to keep in mind is that the people that you're working with on your level, you're just out of film school, okay? So there are other people just out of film school who are not directors, who are shooters, who are editors, who want to be producers, want to be line producers, want to be production managers. Those are the people that you're going to meet on other people's sets. My biggest advice is go work. You want to do your stuff? Fine. It's easy to do your stuff, and we'll get into that. But if you want to make money and be able to do your stuff without having to go to a 9-to-5 job, without being a cashier or serving salad to somebody, there's work out there. Backstage always has work. There's work on Mandy. It's out there. And that is how you can make money, support yourself, and then do your own stuff. And what does do your own stuff mean? Well, it means do your own stuff. But it means actually getting out and doing it. Not, oh, I have this amazing project, but I need the right camera. I need more people. Otherwise, I'm not going to... That's bullshit, okay? And I can tell you from experience that it's BS. And I will tell you why right after this. So ranting aside, if you want to be a documentary filmmaker, you can. You have an iPhone. There are cheap cameras out there. The stories are out there. You want to be a documentary filmmaker? Go out, tell the stories. Tell the local stories. You don't need a crew. You don't need all this stuff. I can tell you from personal experience that persistence pays off. And I know that, and I had some great news today, and I'll share that later, that from the time I made my first documentary film in 1997, when I made Rescue Brooklyn, I'm a one-man band. And I've been in a one-man band on every documentary I made up until Outcast Nation, where I have one person helping me, okay? There's absolutely no excuse for you not to go out and make those documentary films. You know, you can call yourself a documentary filmmaker, but if you're not making films, you are a documentary film wisher. You're a documentary film dreamer. And I know that, you know, you've got film students, they want to make their opus. But you know what? Just make something small. Make a movie. If you're not making a movie, you're not a filmmaker, and that's the bottom line. So I can tell you that 5 films down the road, okay, Outcast Nation, right now, today, just got distribution from PBS. Why? Not because I'm lucky, not because I'm an overnight success. If it is, I'm a 23-year overnight success. It's because I've been persistent. I've been cranking out documentaries every couple of years for the last, do the math, 15, 16 years. Because of the movies that I did, and each one got a little bit better. Each one did a little bit better because Rising Tides got into film festival. It won a film festival. It won Best Feature at an environmental film festival. When I applied to NIDA, which is PBS's distribution arm, and had talked to them about Rising Tides earlier on, this time they looked at what I had and they said, yes, we want to distribute Outcast Nation. But that's because I put years and years and years in. It doesn't happen overnight. So persistence pays off. And I'm living proof of that. I have no money, and you know, I bought my own gear over years and years and years. So I don't have to rent anything. You know, this movie, lucked out, it's all in New York City, so I haven't had to travel at all on this. Some parking and some tolls and things. But it's a local story. You can have a local story. You can make your documentary film. Now, are you going to make money on it? No. Is Netflix going to pick it up? No. You are making your documentary films to tell your stories, to get it out. And you know what? YouTube is the place where we're getting it out, and we're going to get into that right after this. So getting back to the idea that Hollywood is not the place for us, and it's not. And I can tell you that having gone the traditional distribution route on 2 of my movies, both are on Amazon, you can find them on Amazon, and nobody watched them. They've never been seen, maybe by 100 people. And I was so pissed off about that when I made Rising Tides, I didn't go that way. What I did was I put it up on YouTube because the idea was for people to watch it, you know, just get it out there so people can see it. That's the most important part. Yeah, I paid for it. Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you how much it was. Credit cards, you know, other shooting jobs that I got to pay for it. But at the end of the day, over 5,000 people, which I know for some people is not a lot, but for me, that's more people that watched my movie than any of my other movies that actually had traditional distribution. So what we're talking about now is is other means of distribution for independent filmmakers. Right now, YouTube is great. You put your movie up there, you got your keywords, whatever that stuff is. I still haven't figured out the real code, but it's there. And for people who understand social media, you can really get your movie out there for people to watch. And that's the point, isn't it? For people to watch your story. And the more you get your stuff out there and people watching your story, the next one you make, well, yeah, it's going to be better and better and better and better until somebody says, hey, you know what? This person knows what they're doing. Let's give them a shot, okay? So the idea is to make movies. And so YouTube is great. There's a new company called Olyn, Olyn. They're an international company specifically for independent filmmakers and distribution. They have a whole scheme of how the movie gets distributed amongst this community, and you watch other people's stuff, and you recommend other people's stuff, and they recommend your stuff. I highly recommend it. I am actually dealing with them right now, but because of what I got going on now, I don't have time, so I'm going to get back to them in August. But Olyn, Olyn, there's Tubi. But YouTube, I'm telling you, is the place to go with your first movie. So the idea is not to be rich. You're not going to make a living on making your own documentaries. But you know what? There's work out there to pay for your documentaries. And I'm not the first person to say it. Luke Forsythe has said it. Mark Bowen has said it. Austin Meyer has said it. You got to work. And if you're not working in the industry, then you're not in the industry, okay? The worst job on a set, taking out garbage, picking up talent, whatever it is better than any other job in an office, hands down, okay? So, that's where you got to be. So that's it. That's that for that part. Next, and hopefully not too long of a video, I'm going to talk about what I've been working on and the gear I've been using, and a little bit about our sponsor, Follow Focus Gears. They're amazing, and they've helped me a lot on this movie, and we're going to talk about that right after this. So I just want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, Follow Focus Gears. We have one sponsor of this channel, and it's Follow Focus Gears. And you know that because I keep talking about them, because they totally rock. On Outcast Nation, obviously, I've got all these cool lenses, and all of them have been provided Follow Focus Gears, just like the name says, caps, step-up rings from Sean and the guys at Follow Focus Gears. And, not just, these prime lenses. I've got my Canon 24-105 for the R6. Got the lovely blue Follow Focus and zoom ring, okay? Plus our little step-up and our cap. Follow Focus Gears, the sponsor. You can put these on every lens you own, okay? And, by the way, he has a ring for every lens you own. So go to Follow Focus Gears. Here's the link. Here's the company. And you will get 10% off every ring you get with the code. What's the code? The code is InFrame Brooklyn 2025. Okay? InFrame Brooklyn 2025. Put it in, and you literally get 10% off every ring. Okay? And actually, anything you buy. So you want the caps, you want the step-up. Oh, by the way, the caps come with the step-up ring, okay? You get the cap, comes with the step-up ring. And you want that because you want all your lens to use the same size filter. You see how smart they are? Sean and Follow Focus Gears, go buy some rings from them. Back to the video. So for Outcast Nation, I had a stylistic look in mind. And what I decided to do was utilize these amazing Canon FD prime lenses. These are the same glass as the old Canon cinema lenses from the 70s and 80s. And it's got this wonderful, creamy focus. The bokeh is amazing. But the real kicker is that you can pick them up on eBay for like $65, okay? I got a whole set, and I'm going to lay them out so you can see, and I'm going to put the prices, and you can see what it cost me to get this amazing set of prime lenses, which is what I'm shooting Outcast Nation on completely. The behind-the-scenes stuff is being shot on the R6 with the 24-105 kit lens, but the actual footage for the documentary is being shot on these old Canon prime lenses, and I've cinemated them, and so let's look at them. Okay, here you go. So the first lens is the Canon 50 millimeter, the FD 1.8, and this was my lens for my Canon AE1. But this same lens is available on eBay for about $50. Okay, just as the lens. They're all in really good shape. And what I did was, from our friends in Canada, I got their conversion kit, which was a back cap, the EF conversion mount, so that I could put it on, use it on the Canon C300 Mark II. Any idiot can do this, by the way. I did it. I did it on a number of lenses. And so what you get is you get the conversion, the aperture ring, and the focus ring. And so what that amounts to is a cine lens with a silent aperture ring, and basically you get all those nice in-betweens without the click. This amazing focus ring. And what you have now is a cine lens. And from our friends at Follow Focus Gears, we got a step-up ring, and these lenses have a 52 millimeter filter ring. Follow Focus Gears sends you a step-up ring so you can get all your lenses the same filter size. So this is a 77. All of my lenses are now stepped up to 77, and they got these amazing caps. This rubber fits right over the top and eliminates the need for those clippy lens covers, which completely fall off every time you put them on. So this is the 50. Okay. Now this is the 28. Same deal. Got this one on eBay for $65. Same conversion. EF mount for the C300. Silent aperture ring. Follow focus ring. And from our friends at Follow Focus Gears, another 52 to 77 step-up ring, and another wonderful rubber cap. I'm telling you, real cine lenses. And this is what I've been shooting on this movie, and it's been amazing. And the style is what I'm going for, because I want gritty, I want New York City, and these prime lenses, I'm telling you, they're the key. Now you're gonna love this. This is a Canon FD zoom 28 to 85 1.8 millimeter, and again, same deal. I got the follow focus ring from Follow Focus Gears, and I got the cap and the step up to 77 millimeter. And the reason for this is because, like, let's talk about the C300. Now, it has built-in ND, but you want those little stops in between, so you put a neutral density filter on the lens so you can get those in-between stops. I only need two neutral density, 77 millimeter neutral density lenses, one for the A camera and one for the B camera. So they're all the same size. Now, this is the thing about the zoom. Because it's a zoom, I wasn't able to do the conversion on it. So this actually has an FD to EF mount adapter, and it goes right into the camera. And this has been the workhorse of the run and gun documentary stuff we've been doing outside of our sit-down interviews, which we've been using the 50 and the 28. But I got this from Canada, $45. Okay, it's amazing. It is $45 for this lens. Okay, go out and buy lenses. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. There's one more. Canon FD 70 to 200. Okay. Want to guess how much I got this for? Okay, I'll tell you. $55 from KEH. Okay. Brand spanking new quality. Okay. 70 to 200. I got the step-up ring and the cap from Follow Focus Gears. I got this really cool focus ring here. I don't have the zoom on this because this has this big zoom thing, but for focus, this has been amazing. KEH, they are lifesavers. Okay? Used lenses is the way to go. I know this video is all over the place, but I'm so excited. We get these really good lenses. So what are we going to take from the video today? And I think the most important thing is that people talk about being filmmakers, right? And I've gone through this my whole life. You know, people, oh, I want to make a movie, I'm going to make a movie. And they never do. And the hardest part of being a filmmaker is starting, okay? And I'll tell you the story about Outcast Nation really quick. If you've been following me, you know that we had like this meltdown of movies back in like December. I had 2 projects I thought were going to happen. Neither of them happened. This was one of them. Outcast Nation, which was called something else at the time, had been about hostile architecture in New York City, which directly affects the homeless. You know, it's these spikes on seats. It's these bus stations where you can't sit down, and I wasn't getting any traction at all. Okay, nothing, and I was about to just put the whole thing to bed. And so overnight, I did a little research, and turned out that's when I found out that 60% of the homeless in New York City are families. That led to another thing, and then to another thing. And next thing you know, I have a movie. And now my movie, this movie, which almost didn't happen, by the way, is now going to be distributed by PBS. And in a million years, I never would have thought that was going to happen, because I thought this movie was dead in the water. I thought this was never going to happen. So I think the takeaway is make your movie, okay? Don't worry about the distribution. Don't worry about who's going to want to see it. You have a story to tell. Tell your story, okay? There's hundreds of stories out there. It doesn't have to be like a long movie. It could be like a 15-minute short or a 10-minute short. A documentary is just telling a true story, okay? It could be politics. It could be emotional. It could be familial. It could be anything you want it to be, because it's a documentary, okay? One-man bandit, get out there, tell your story. And then once you tell one story, then go out and tell another one, okay? That's how you become a documentary filmmaker. Not sitting in your house going, well, I'm a film student and I should be paid to tell my story. No. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen that way, okay? Persistence is the key. Every guy on YouTube will tell you that. Nobody here is an overnight success. Nobody. Everybody who you watch on here has been putting in years and years and years of doing this, working for free. You know, working on small projects, working on other people's projects. And eventually, you know what? The bell rings and they go, hey, okay, your turn. But only after you put the time in. There is no magic bullet. There's no shortcut. There is no, well, if I just do this, then no. So anyway, that's my advice. That's the video today. I hope people like it. I hope people watch it. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Please like it. The more likes I get, the better I feel. The new movie is obviously Outcast Nation. And PBS is going to distribute my movie. Yay. And on that note, keep shooting!